Hello everyone, it's 4 in the morning and I look like crap, but I've got to get this video done sooner rather than later, and I've been putting it off for long enough. As a few of you may know, a few weeks ago I went to Holland. We got a job offer out there, me and a friend of mine, a long-time friend. His uncle worked out there for a company called Flexcargo. Made us this so you can get an idea of their logo and whatnot. Okay, now believe me when I say you hear about these people or anyone like them, do not go and work for them, and I will tell you why. We went out there and we had no illusions it was going to be some perfect amazing job and we were going to have like a 5-star apartment or hotel or whatever to stay in, but we spent a 13-hour coach journey out there and then countless trains to get to this village of Beverwick or somewhere like that, which could bus out to this other location, like another village off the side of it. And then we got into their office, and they immediately got us to sit down and sign a whole bunch of contracts, and we had to pay €150 in deposit, which we never saw again, by the way. They refused to give it back when we asked to leave. And then they made us sign a whole bunch of contracts, all in Dutch. Now, I would admit, not my most ingenious moment ever, signing a whole bunch of contracts off the fly like that were all written in Dutch. And it always seemed like while we were in there, they were urgent to get us out, like they were speeding us through it, like gone, gone, gone. Each contract is signed over and over. And then they got us out there, they showed us to the accommodation just off the side of the office, and it was, in a word, horrific. It was something out of Train Spotters. The water was coming out almost brown. There were 2 toilets in this house that had to be used between 15 people. This was a 3-story house which should only really realistically fit about 5 or 6 people. And they were cramming about 4 or 5 people into each room. Now the room that we had, when they brought us into it, had a wall rotting away. It had like wet rot on it, and the ceiling it had extended up to was being held up by 2 bits of plywood they had nailed on. And we just passed it off. We thought, you know, whatever, we come here in Holland to start a new life, this is temporary, and we work there and we'll build it up. We had all these dreams in our head of how it would work out, and we'd get to live in Holland for a whole year and experience a whole new life there. And then 2 days later, after like walking about Amsterdam and whatnot, which was awesome, I had an awesome time with my friends, we got called in to go to the work, and the work they gave us a uniform, a high vis and all that, got us in there, and then no safety training whatsoever. They brought us out onto the floor after we'd been kept up for 24 hours already, and we were also given notice 2 hours before working. That's how they work. They send you a text 2 hours before you have to work. There's no rota. They don't even tell you if you're going to be working that day, so you can't even go out and do anything. There were forklifts going back and forth, no safety training, we had absolutely no supervisors watching us. We were pretty much just thrown on there, given a bunch of nets and said, here, throw them over and connect them up. And if I'm honest with you guys, I didn't last the entire night. We were meant to be there for an 8-hour shift until 7 in the morning, and it got to 2 hours before and I left. I just gave up, and yeah, they pretty much just told me to go. And I sat outside, my friend, he came out and he talked to me, and in those few moments where I was just sitting there, just like looking out onto like the road, it made me think. It's when I was moving to Holland, I thought I was so fed up with my life in England, and I loved my friends, but that was all I had, and this room, and then it makes you realise, when I was out there talking to some of the people, there's one guy who was out there, he went on holiday there with his wife, and his wife divorced him while he was there and left him stranded, and now that is his life. Coming back to that shitty accommodation and like working that job. And if that's what he wants to do, then power to him. I'm not judging him for living that life, it's not the sort of life that I wanted. And I had all these dreams going into Holland, they just got crushed like that, and it's a cruel lesson. It teaches you that, you know, things don't always work out as you expect. Hell, they rarely work out ever how you expect. It was a real eye-opener. And I thought when I come back, I'll work hard, I'll like find a job, and I'll move on up with my life and improve myself. But it just hasn't happened yet. In these few weeks, I've been sitting here feeling sorry for myself and not doing anything. And tonight, for some reason, just I don't know, I mean, I watched Fight Club a few hours ago, maybe that has something to do with it, but for some reason something just clicked when I was sitting here. It makes you realise sometimes you've got to grab life by the balls. I mean, you've got to go out there and actually do shit yourself, because if you just sit around and wait for it, it's never going to happen. And my whole life I've just been sitting around and waiting for shit to happen. It hasn't. And starting up this channel and all the people that I've met, and playing League as well, the people I met through that when I came back to England, like seeing how much people miss you, and it's one hell of a thing. It makes you realise you don't realise what you got until it's gone. So yeah, that's basically that. I mean, it's not really important. I kind of broke my own rule. I swore I wouldn't make these vlogs unless I had something people would actually find interesting to listen to, but fuck it, I needed to rant. Yeah, so that's pretty much that, and I always end these videos awkwardly because I have no idea how the fuck to do a send-off. But that's pretty much that, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you've watched this far, then you know, thanks for listening, and whoever you are, have an awesome day.